Welcome to Sterling Aviation. How can I help you today?
I'm here about the Gulfstream.
Terrence?
Hello, Danielle. It's been a while.
Danielle Carter filed for divorce on a Tuesday morning in March, sliding the papers across their kitchen table while Terrence sat quietly eating breakfast before his shift. She'd rehearsed the conversation for weeks, but in the end, it came out simpler than she expected. "I need more than this, Terrence. I need someone with actual direction. A real future." Terrence, an unassuming man who worked long hours as a freelance software consultant from their cramped home office, set down his fork calmly. "Is this about the promotion I turned down at Reyes Technologies?" "It's about everything," Danielle said, exhausted. "You've had 3 job offers this year alone, and you turned all of them down to keep freelancing from home. Meanwhile, I'm out here building an actual career, and you're comfortable. I can't build a life around comfortable, Terrence." What Danielle didn't know, what Terrence had never fully explained, was that he'd turned down those job offers because his own freelance consulting work had quietly grown into something far larger than either of them realized, a specialized cybersecurity firm he'd built from his home office, now contracting with several Fortune 500 companies under a business name Danielle had never bothered asking about. He didn't argue. He simply signed the papers, packed a single suitcase, and left without raising his voice once. Danielle moved into a downtown apartment shortly after the divorce finalized, determined to build the life she'd always envisioned for herself. She'd spent years working as an administrative assistant at a mid-sized firm, quietly resentful of how slowly her career seemed to move while friends around her climbed corporate ladders effortlessly. 3 months after the divorce, she landed what felt like the opportunity of a lifetime. A sales position at Sterling Aviation, the city's most prestigious private jet dealership, catering exclusively to ultra-high net worth clients purchasing aircraft ranging from $6 to $60 million. She threw herself into the role completely, memorizing aircraft specifications, studying luxury client etiquette, determined to prove she belonged in a world she'd always watched from the outside. Within her first month, she'd already closed 2 smaller sales, earning commissions larger than her entire previous annual salary. For the first time in years, Danielle felt like she'd finally made it, exactly the life she'd once told Terrence she needed. She rarely thought about him anymore, though occasionally, late at night, she wondered what he was doing now, whether he'd finally taken a stable job somewhere, whether he'd moved on the way she had. She had no idea just how far he'd actually moved on. Terrence's cybersecurity firm, Vantage Shield Security, had quietly become one of the most sought-after firms in the industry over the past 2 years, protecting critical infrastructure for banks, hospitals, and government contractors across the country. What started as freelance consulting work from a cramped home office had grown into a company valued at nearly $200 million. He never spoke about the company at social gatherings. He never posted about milestones online. He simply worked, methodically and quietly, the same way he always had, long before Danielle ever grew impatient with what she perceived as his lack of ambition. With the company's recent expansion into international contracts, Terrence found himself traveling constantly between cities, spending nearly 18 hours a month simply sitting in airports, dealing with delayed commercial flights that ate into time he desperately needed for his growing business. His executive assistant finally convinced him it was time to consider a private aircraft, both for efficiency and for the discretion his increasingly sensitive government contracts required. Terrence agreed reluctantly, still uncomfortable with any kind of public display of the wealth he'd quietly built. He researched dealerships carefully, eventually selecting Sterling Aviation based purely on their reputation for professionalism and discretion. He had no idea who worked there. On a Thursday afternoon in November, Terrence walked into Sterling Aviation's downtown showroom, dressed simply in a tailored navy suit, calm and unassuming despite the 9-figure business decisions he now made daily. "Welcome to Sterling Aviation. How can I help you today? Danielle asked without looking up from her tablet, still finishing notes from her previous appointment. I'm here about the Gulfstream, Terrence said. Danielle's pen froze mid-signature. Something about the voice tugged sharply at her memory. She looked up slowly, and the tablet slipped from her hands, clattering loudly against the marble showroom floor. Terrence? He offered a small, polite nod, none of the awkwardness she might have expected. Hello, Danielle. It's been a while. Danielle stood frozen, glancing quickly at his tailored suit, the calm confidence in his posture, utterly unable to reconcile this version of him with the man she'd left 8 months earlier for lacking direction. You're here about a jet? She asked, still struggling to process the moment. The Gulfstream G650, specifically, Terrence confirmed calmly. Cash purchase, if that's something Sterling can accommodate quickly. I have a contract closing in Singapore next week. Danielle's mouth opened, then closed again. Danielle's manager, noticing the tension, quietly stepped in to confirm the details while Danielle excused herself briefly to the back office, hands trembling as she processed what had just happened. Through the glass partition, she watched Terrence calmly reviewing aircraft specifications with the same quiet focus she remembered from years of watching him work late at their kitchen table, work she'd once dismissed as just freelancing. She finally composed herself enough to return, professional obligation outweighing personal shock. I have to ask, Danielle said quietly, once the paperwork process resumed. What happened? How did you build all of this? Terrence studied her for a long moment, no bitterness in his expression, only quiet, measured honesty. I built Vantage Shield the same way I always worked, Danielle. Quietly. Consistently. You just never saw it as ambition because it didn't look the way you expected success to look. Danielle's eyes filled with tears. She quickly blinked back, professional composure barely holding. I judged you for staying comfortable. But you weren't comfortable. You were building something I couldn't see. You judged what you could see, Terrence said gently. That's not entirely your fault. I never explained it clearly, partly because I didn't think I needed anyone's validation to keep building. The silence between them stretched, heavy with everything neither of them had said back then. I'm not here to make this uncomfortable for you, Terrence added, noticing her visible distress. I genuinely just need a reliable aircraft for business travel. Nothing more complicated than that. Danielle nodded, grateful for his composure, though something inside her ached quietly at how easily he'd moved forward without her. For what it's worth, she said softly, finalizing the purchase agreement, I'm proud of what you built, even if I don't deserve to say that anymore. You're allowed to be proud of someone without it meaning anything else, Terrence said simply. I hope Sterling Aviation is everything you wanted it to be, Danielle. Genuinely. The purchase finalized within the hour, a $42 million transaction completed with the same quiet efficiency Terrence brought to everything he did. As he prepared to leave, he paused briefly at the showroom door. I hope you find whatever you were actually looking for, he said, not unkindly. I hope it's not just a title on an office door. He left without waiting for a response, walking calmly toward a car waiting outside, the same steady, unhurried pace she remembered from years of watching him quietly build something she'd never taken the time to fully understand. Danielle stood alone in the showroom long after he left, staring at the empty parking space where his car had been, finally understanding, far too late, that ambition doesn't always announce itself loudly, and sometimes, the quietest people are building the most extraordinary things right in front of us.